Keep you safe from harm. I want you to be my bride and sing, sing, sing along while I'm walking. Here, here, here's your love, girl. Here, here, here's your love. Well, you're gonna go somewhere. I've got a lot to love to give. I've got a kiss with your name on.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Czech Republic, to Prague, and to the final day of the 2020 European Canoe Slalom Championships. I'm David Goldstrom. It's a lovely morning, temperature around 12 Celsius, but destined to warm up. We kick off this morning with the semi-finals for the women's kayak, to be followed by the semi-finals for the men's canoe. And the conditions here really nice this morning for paddling. Well, these championships, of course, were originally supposed to happen in Lee Valley in London, but due to COVID-19, they were cancelled. But the Czechs have done an amazing job to relocate and restage them here. This is the menu of the day, and you can see momentarily we're about to get underway with those women kayak semi-finals. And in the two semi-finals, 20 have qualified from the heats, 10 to go through to the finals. The course exactly the same as it was for yesterday, and there you can see the facts and figures. 6 upstream gates, and it is a course which, as you can see, is almost straight, and potentially always seems to look very straightforward, but it's far from that. And this is the journey that faces the paddlers today. So a sprint of about 30 meters to the first of 3 downstream offset gates, and then to the first of the upstreams, breaking out into gate 4. The poles set just 20 centimeters above the water. The gates 1.5 meters wide, and the boats 60 centimeters in width, 3.5 meters in length. The double upstream here, 15 and 16, tricky. And then this move from 17 to 18 yesterday was catching up quite a few. The penultimate upstream, and then again this offset to 23, the final upstream, and then you can see this long flat water sprint to the line. So you need energy in reserve for that final phase of the course. 250 meters, 25 gates, and a challenge for all athletes. That was the common comment from yesterday. So here are the 20 who've qualified from yesterday's heats, or should say Friday's heats to be exact. And there's a lot of talent in here, not least Karina Kunle, who'll be last to go. She was fastest in the heats. She who won the European title in Slovenia back in 2017, a real talent for Austria. There you have the facts and figures about the weather. It will get warmer, and allow about 300 spectators invited as VIPs to join today, to social distance and to actually make sure that they all wear masks and comply with the regulations here. But it's really good to have their support and noise, particularly for the paddlers, who've really been delighted that they've had this one chance to actually have a realistic competition this year, which has been so virus infected. So here we go with the first of our competitors representing Austria. Nina Verashnik, who is also a paddler with her twin sister Nadine, who competed yesterday in the women's Canadian singles, finished in the top 10 in 9th place. But sitting in her kayak and using a double blade here, 5 and 6 offset. And that's a touch there on gate 8. Comes to 10, second of the upstreams. Setting the target time, as I say, 20 in this semi-final, 10 to go through. This river dropping 3.5 meters from start to finish, and you can see the continuing little drops throughout the course here, which has been remodeled for this season in its bottom section. Not so many spectators now, but it will fill up for the finals, that's for sure. Early Sunday morning start, and so far so good, just the one touch. Fingers crossed that she can keep clean right to the finish here. Fast and clean being the object of the exercise. The water gate here. 21 gymnastically just avoids a 50-second penalty. And Nina coming down here. Next paddler already on her way. But this is the time that she's set. 1:28.56 with just that 2-second penalty. Well, Karina Kunle did this in the heats in 1:03.60. It's not an exact comparison because the course has changed. And Elena Marks now. So far so good as she negotiates 4 to 5. The exit at one gate determining the entrance to the next, and now in this forest of downstream gates weaving in and out. And quicker. Dimitri Marks outside the top 20 in the women's Canadian singles, so doubling up for the championships. Seems a lot more comfortable in the kayak. Just got held there a little bit. She drops down to 15. The line wasn't perfect, drops down again to set herself up for 16. Trying to keep that kayak moving. That was okay. Still clean. And in trouble now. I mentioned in the introduction the problem between 17 and 18. She was offline coming through 17, and that's what's caused the problem into 18. And there's the big time loss. And you can see from being about a second faster, she's now 6 seconds behind the Austrian who got us going this morning. This is the biggest of the drops she's coming to now. Still no touches by body, boat or blade, but that big time loss has maybe compromised her chance of making the final. Through 23 upstream. Works the stopper okay. 24 offset to 25. You can see you have to correct the kayak, and now this flat water sprint into the line. And second place. Representing Andorra, Monica Doria Villarubla. And a really positive start, as you can see. 3 seconds to the good in the green. Really important to try and get a clean run down here. This is a really competitive class. no less than 20 nations competing, which is fantastic given the circumstances we're all living in now. As for participation, it's the same as for yesterday. Some notable absentees. Gets 18 on the diagonal to 19. But look at the advantage. It's evaporated through that technical section, gymnastically through gate 20, and a touch on 19. And that will not do her any good whatsoever, because she's now, so to speak, behind the clock, but still has the chance to take the advantage. Found a little more pace now towards the bottom here, challenging Nina Vrachnik for the lead, and I think she's going to get there. And indeed she does. So what she lost, she gained in terms of the Austrian during the centre part of the course, where she had that problem and had to make up time. As I mentioned, 1 or 2 absentees. And here, a real talent, the defending world, well, defending, she is the reigning world champion, Eva Techel of Slovenia. Eva got a European gold medal with the team some 3 years ago in Tatsan on her own Slovenian water. But being world champion, which she achieved in La Seu d'Urgell last season, pretty good. She's up on the clock for sure, the way she's paddling now. There's plenty of air around 15. Just lost a little bit of boat speed there through 16. But still quicker than all of her predecessors so far. 18 and 19 negotiated without a fuss, and nicely through 20, very central through 20, coming down to the biggest of the drops to the water gate. Nice tight lines are there to set the kayak for 23. Cleans the stopper, comes round to not lose any boat speed there. And this is a really good run by her. Whether it'll be good enough to get her into the final, time will tell. But comfortably into the lead by almost 6.5 seconds. So Slovenia take the advantage. Teams that are missing: Germany, Great Britain, Slovakia and Russia would be perhaps the most prominent ones. And now the talented Camille Prigent, under 23 world champion in Ivrea in Italy 2 years ago, and the daughter of the wonderful achieving paddler Jean-Yves Prigent, who won a world team gold for France way back in 1977 in Spital, and he was 3rd in the World Championships in Bala in 81. Camille, young, a real talent and prospect for France, only 22, born in Rennes. Little bit to find, actually, about a second, or maybe a little bit more than that. Well, no, actually, she's cut the deficit back, so that's really good. 20, and at the moment, still okay, coming down to 21. That's okay, still no touches there. Now to 23. Oh, and she's caught that gate. So there's a 2-second penalty included in her overall running time. And chasing Eva Tejal, 1:15.82. And Well, certainly, but for that 2-second penalty, she would be leading now. But that may well be good enough to see her into the final. Next out on the water will be the Polish paddler, already started, Dominika Breszka. And here she is. Careless touch at gate number 1. And that really could put you off, and she's struggling now. The water is controlling her rather than she the other way round, and the deficit is going to be significant, I think, here behind the Slovenian, our current leader. You'll see it now, and this is going to be very difficult for her to qualify from here on in. 14 seconds. That's pretty well an eternity in this sport. Just a little bit low on that upstream. Dominika, only 16, so I should have emphasized that, how young she is. Last year, she was runner-up in the, what they had was under 16 Olympic hopefuls competition in the Czech Republic, in Rudnice, and she was the runner-up there. So for her to be in the semi-finals, this is a young girl, really, for the future for her country, and that's really encouraging that Poland have got a young talent, and this is all about education for her. So maybe I sounded a bit critical in the beginning. If I did, I apologize, because this is something that will stand her in good stead for the future. Already on her way is her Polish teammate, Klaudia Zwolinska, who competed yesterday in the women's canoe slalom. She made the final of that. We'll catch up with her in a moment as a young teammate. Really tiring now, but as I said, the skill will come, the strength will come, and it's a really good experience for her. Now to Zwolinska, who finished just outside the medals in 4th place. And here she is already at gate number 10. She had a touch on gate 6. Maybe you'll get away with one touch to help you into the final. You can see the line there. It's pretty direct from 14 to 15 to the breakout, and drops down just a little bit earlier to keep the kite coming round and taking 16 and keeping the boat moving, which is absolutely critical. She's been leaking a bit of time. Almost 3 seconds down after the top section into 20. And no problems there. So the clock is her enemy at the moment now. 1:15 is the leader's best time. So she's about the final sprint behind, and where's this going to take her into? Into 4th place. And but for that final, or that early touch, she would have been in 3rd. Eva-Alina Hocheva on the water already. She made the canoe final for the women yesterday, finished in 8th place. But again, arguably more comfortable in the kayak. She's very versatile, and she won the junior world title 2 years ago from a famous paddling family, not least Simon Hocheva, plus 2.71. That is a deficit which she can make up. We saw yesterday that it's possible to make time on the lower section of the course, providing you've managed your energy levels. You've got to leave something for that flat water sprint finish. Just getting held there a little bit on the approach into 15, and the stern getting buried as she drops down to 16. Like all the Hochevar family, she's an athlete who can paddle canoe, kayak, slalom, wild water. 18 touch, and that's set her back a bit. She's probably going to be another paddler outside 120 seconds, as she's still got 3 gates to negotiate. Just that one frustrating touch, but they're all important. The water here from the River Vltava, really powerful, and slots into 5th place. Well, the defending European champion is on her way, and this is Amelie Hilgertova. Won the title last year in France. This exciting young talent for the Czechs, just 23 years of age. Her aunt is the legendary Stepanka Hilgertova, her uncle Luboš, both of them fantastic. Of course, Stepanka, Olympic champion, world champion, European champion. She won everything in the sport and was paddling competitively into her 40s. So what a fantastic person to have as a mentor. So Amelie, a little down on the clock, but clean so far. And you can hear the spectators getting behind her here. Still got a couple of seconds to find. That's very approximate in my calculations, but she can stay without penalty. There it is, 2 seconds now. Can she bite into that deficit on this last section? How much energy has she preserved? Home water, of course. You can see how she set the line there through 21 to 22 to be able to sort of ferry across to 23 to get through there. This is not bad. She's going to be inside the 120-second mark, but probably not quite enough to take the lead away from the Slovenian. No, but decent, 3rd place. And Amelie may well have the chance to defend her title in the finals. This is, as I said, a different course, a different gate pattern to the one from the heats. And Veronika Vojtova loves the big water. Last year's world extreme kayak champion. But a touch on 2, that's not the way you want to start. So that tells its own story, that deficit. She has medalled on this course, but that was all of 7 years ago as part of the K1 team. And she's, in her time, won a gold medal with the team in the European Championships. Second of the Czechs. There's 3 per country. That's the maximum you can have in the European Championships. Just that one blemish at the moment. The time is the problem in terms of qualifying. Drive to the finish. You can see the head coming forward, the shoulders rocking, just an indication of how fatigued she is. The lactate burning up, pumping those legs underneath the spray deck, and into 5th place. Who knows? That may be good enough. And there was the careless touch on gate number 2 at the beginning of her run. Slovenia will be next, Ida Novak. And so many of these paddlers have done really well. That's the state of play. So 10 have gone, so none have qualified yet. Current leader, Slovenia's Eva Terčel. So Ida Novak. A former under-23 world champion. That was some 5 years ago when she was 21. Again, Slovenia finding young talent. It's a fantastic country. They really support their paddlers. They're a country who are known for their paddling prowess. Great silver medal yesterday for 37-year-old Peter Kauser in the men's kayak. Delighted to see that. There's the first penalty. Got to be careful here. And again, down on the clock, the start was not as dynamic as it needed to be. That's a touch on 12. Through 14, that's okay. Now break out to 15 in the eddy. And there with the blade. So that's 3 penalties so far, and the time deficit accumulating. 14, 15 seconds, I'm guessing, but this is going to make it pretty, well, 16.39, so this is going to be very difficult for her to qualify. Ida Novak. So on her way, the one and only paddler from the Netherlands. And Novak well down the field, and she's not really going to qualify. So it's Lena Teunissen of the Netherlands, who was ranked 18th in the canoe slalom category. Looking much more comfortable, not as quick as perhaps we would wish there, but not bad. So far, so good. Hasn't managed to touch anything through gate 11, now to 12. Now, can she find some pace here? I'm tempted to say that she's going to focus on being clean, and in so doing might well drop a couple of seconds, but then if you avoid a 2-second penalty but lose a couple of seconds in time, it sort of balances out in a funny sort of way. She is being careful. And 4 seconds, in fact, the deficit doubling there. But that was okay. That was 20, nice and tight, keeps the kayak coming around. Now this is where you set up for 21, but look at the angle for 22 to be able to come through in reverse to ferry to 23. It's not bad. Certainly, she looks, as I said earlier on, much more comfortable in a kayak than she did yesterday in a canoe. Coming to 25. And again, another paddler who's going to finish in around 120 seconds. And fourth place, not bad by the young Dutch woman there. Well done to Lena. So Slovenia, France, the Czech Republic, and Holland and Andorra occupying the first 5 places. And now Poland. Natalia. So far in her paddling career, she's collected a couple of European team silvers.
The first split, there is a gap of 3.64. That's something that Natalia Macherkin, I believe, is quite able to handle. But there was one more mistake in the grade number 9.
Competed in the London Olympics, where she finished 7th and 11th in the Rio Olympics in 2016. So that one touch on gate 11 sets her back. She was 3.5 off the pace. Now add that in, that would make 5.5 and a time loss. So to get into the top 10, you don't want to be much more than 10 seconds down when you cross the line, and well, that gives her a chance at the moment. But remember, there are still 7 paddlers to come, so again, she's right on the margins here of making it into the finals. Just got into that stopper a little bit too much and didn't delay her that much, but it wasn't as clean or as fast as it could have been. Going for the finish now and into 8th place. So in the top 10, but it's only 10 that go through. So Eva Teršeld of Slovenia, Camille Prigent and Amelie Hilgatova are definitely into the final. And here's Anthony Galushkova, representing the Czech Republic, last year's junior world champion for the host nation. Not too bad, 0.62 to just keep herself in touch. Only 20. She's actually also achieved silver medals at under 23 championship races in the mixed C2, and she's a silver medalist in the European juniors as well, so a rising talent. 12, unfortunate touch here. Now 18. Just correct. It wasn't perfect, the line, but 19 into, or I should say 19 into 20, I mean. Still, you know, this is pretty good run, because if she hadn't had that penalty, she'd be right in there, and she might well be still pretty competitive. This is a top 5 effort, I would say. Comes through to sprint to the finish, and she is going to be in the top 5. So that's really good. Galushkova, who gives 2. Now all 3 Czechs are in the top 10 at the moment. Still 6 to come, and Stephanie Horn now. Steph, who starting her paddling career representing Germany until 2013. Then she was attracted to Italy, or more importantly to Riccardo De Gennaro, her husband, and this 2-time European silver medalist now representing Italy. But those two touches on 7 and 8, expensive. She'd only be about a second off the pace, not more than 2 seconds, but for those touches. So she's chosen to really power her way down the course, but it's been expensive. But who knows if she can claw this back. She's, at the moment, her speed looks not bad at all. Be really good if the Italians can get one of their girls into the final, and Steph 6.02. So that still gives her the possibility of getting into the top 10. Needs to try and find, if she can, a second or two with 5 still to come. And they're bound to be 1 or 2 of those who are going to be quick. So she wants to be, if she could be 5th, that would be great, but I don't think she's going to be that close. On 16, 117, where's she going to be? Outside 120 and 9th. Well, you see, if you took those 6 seconds off, she'd have been at 117, and 117 would have put her into 4th place. Yeah, indeed it would. So it's the penalties that have really done for her. So 5 to go, and you can see here that it's the last 5, Villarubla, Vojtova, Stravinska, Horn, Petchepnik, who are in danger of being eliminated. But on the other hand, if any of the final 5 make a mistake, then the door could be open for them to survive. Lucy Baudou for France, who was 5th yesterday in the women's canoe slalom final. There's the athlete who's going to start last, the woman who's won 2 world championships in her time, Karina Kunle. But this is Lucy Baudou, the 2018 World Team Kayak Champion, with mates for France. Won that title in Rio. Different approach into 8 to keep the kayak moving. 5, 6. 7. I think there's a touch. Yeah, that's confirmed. He needed one spring to gate number 8, and there was touching the gate number 7. Not the quickest, and low. There you can see a time loss on gate 10, and so far not so good here. 4 or 5 seconds off the and 12, another touch, and that's 4 seconds included in her running time. And this is getting away from her now. So performance in the canoe is going to be the one she's going to remember most from this visit to Prague. Once again, the spectators really knowledgeable here in Prague. If you're having a rough time, they'll urge you on, they'll look after you, they'll try and support you. If you're doing well, they'll appreciate. Yeah, I can't see her getting back from this. And Lucy's going to be outside the top 10. Her teammate already on her way. And that's just simply, I'm afraid, not going to be good enough. Now, Marjorie Delassus for France. Last season's European under-23 Canadian singles champion is on the water now. Clean through the first 3 gates. This is 5. offset to 6, offset again to 7, and catches that big time. And but for that, she wouldn't be far away from Eva Teršel of Slovenia, who still leads this competition, the reigning world champion, the fastest on the course so far. Oh, and she's outside the gate as well. That's a 50. There it is on 14, and that's ruled her out. So believe it or not, Stephanie Horn in 9th place and Natalia Perchepnik of Poland in 10th place are still surviving. 3 to go. And you can see if you took the 50 and the 50, if you took the 52 off, I mean, she's really not in bad shape, but missing that downstream gate, really, really expensive. And it was not in her mind to try and go back to get it, so I'm afraid her run now is over here. Member of the Po Canoe Club, started her paddling career, so to speak, at the age of 8, but not her day today, I'm afraid. So next out on the water, the last of the Czech challengers, the talented Katarina Kudyova. Now this could be interesting. Kudyova, the world champion 5 years ago on the waters at Lee Valley in London. Now 30, hails from Prague. 3 world and a couple of European golds to her credit so far. And way back under 23 world champion. Never won a World Cup race. She's been 2nd and 3rd. This is a championship challenge. And but for that 2-second penalty, she'd have been right on terms. She'd have been less than a quarter of a second behind. So this is a challenging run here. And she's deceptively quick and she's very accurate at the moment. 18 on the angle, swings to 19, sets up for 20. And you can see 0.66. That's the deficit. So she had a deficit of almost 2¼ seconds. She's cut it back to just a little bit more than half a second. 3 gates to go. This is much better now. She looks powerful. She seems to have plenty of energy going through 24, 25. She'll know how to manage that energy through this course. Yes, this is going to qualify. Kudyova. And indeed, the lead takes it for the Czech Republic, and they lead ahead of Slovenia. France 3rd with Kamil Prigent, and then Amelia Hilgertova and Antony Galushkova. 3 Czechs in the top 5 at the moment with 2 to go. Good run. And when you consider that she had a 2-second touch, that would have been 113.64, as it is 115 seconds. Now, Victoria Us for the Ukraine. A former European bronze medalist. That was also 5 years ago in the Europeans. Competed for our country in the Olympic Games in Rio in 2016. Just outside the top 10. No Russians, they couldn't get here because of the travel restrictions, but great to have the Ukrainians on the water here, one of the 20 participating countries. Good on time in the upper section, right on terms. Stephanie Horn in 10th place. She's the next to be eliminated if anybody goes faster than 123 seconds, and that's likely. This run's getting appreciated by the crowd here, and so it should be. Okay, she was barely down, but now 3 seconds, that would still put her into the top 5 at the moment if she didn't lose any more time. So it looks as if Stephanie Horn's time in the top 10 is really under threat. Nicely done there by Victoria. 2 gates mustn't touch. Good stuff by Vicky. Coming down here now, so she won't lead, but she will qualify. That's pretty good. A clean run into 6th place with only 1 to go, so she's safely into the final. So, Karina Kunle on her way, and a careless touch on gate 1 for the 2-time world champion, now into her early 30s, representing Austria, born in Vienna. A 2-time overall World Cup winner. She's been as good as 5th in the Olympics in Rio, but that was a major disappointment for her. She's not quick here, but it's noticeable with Karina that she can make up time towards the bottom. From where she is now and the time deficit, she's unlikely to take the lead, but remember, when they go into the final, the clocks are all zeroed. Everybody starts on equal terms. So she was just over 5 seconds down, so she's saved about a second at the moment. A 4-second deficit would definitely put her into the top 10, so it's Veronika Vojtova of the Czech Republic at the moment who's under threat. She was 6.64 seconds off the pace. So that's the target. She's got to be inside Karina Kunle, 1:22. And as I said, makes pace towards the end here and goes into 6th place. So Kunle, and in fact, Vojtova actually survives. It's Swolinska of Poland who's missed out. My apologies for that miscalculation on my part. So it's Katarina Kudiova of the Czech Republic, and all the Czechs are through, all 4 of them. And the reason there are 4 of them is because the defending champion, Amini Hilgatova, there in 4th place, is allowed to defend her title. So that's why the Czechs have 4 representatives in the 10-boat final. And these, I'm afraid, are the women you just saw there who will not continue in the competition. They will spectate with you and me. So congratulations to Katarina Kudiova, the fastest in 115.64, but that included a 2-second penalty.
Congratulations. How did you feel on the course?
Thank you. I think the course is quite hard. I don't think it's so hard for Czech people. It's hard for us also, but I think harder is for another people. So
you win with a touch. So how fast can you be in a final?
I think I will be happy if I will have same time, because I think it was quite good. Maybe some parts could be better, but I'm happy with this time.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Katarina, interesting insight that she thinks that a clean run at about 115 could be good enough to win the title. We will see this afternoon. Just a reminder, the final start at 12 o'clock midday Central European time for the women's kayak final. But we're not done here. We have the men's canoe to come now. Their semi-finals, 20 boats, and the same challenge for them to make a place in the top 10 to be able to challenge for a medal. So the Czech Republic and Slovenia, France, Austria, the Ukraine, the Netherlands, Lena Tunisian. That's really good for her to be in. Andorra, Monica Doria Villarubla in 9th place. So a good mix of countries to make it into the final. Well, from the women sitting in their kayaks and paddling with a double blade to the men kneeling in their canoes and working with a single blade. And there's an interesting shot which shows you that forest of downstream green and white gates. The course exactly the same for the men as it was just for the women. 25 gates and 6 of them upstream to be negotiated. And again, a talented field of athletes. And again, look out for the Czechs here. They're strongly represented. Liam Gigot of Ireland, bronze medalist in the under-23 Worlds last year. He'll be the penultimate starter. The Irish, good representation from the Irish in this final. They've got Jake Cochran in the semi-final, I should say. Also, he goes early. Also, the world champion Cedric Joly from France, last year's world champion, the reigning champion of the world, and Croatia, represented by a former under-23 European champion. So Slovenia, Ireland, France, Poland, Switzerland, Croatia, Spain, Czech Republic and Ireland all represented. So this is the journey once again. That sprint and then the 3 offsets. Just a reminder, they negotiate these gates, which are 1.5 meters in width. The boat itself is some 60 centimeters and 3.5 meters long. As they come down 12 to 13, 12 has caused problems. 14 to 15, fairly direct line before dropping down to take 16. 17, 18, there have been mistakes and gates missed there, particularly on 18. And this is a tough course set by Yuri Prishkovic, the man who won the men's kayak yesterday. It was his dad who set the course, and the other course designer, Anne Bruxelles from France. Well, it's not really relative, but the heats were won by Lukáš Rowan of the Czech Republic in 99.90. The course has changed, and there you can see number 4 there, Cedric Joly, the world champion. The Croatian just after him, who trains very well, but often just doesn't fluffs his lines in competition. Let's hope it's a better day for him. You might have noticed there, Rafael Ivaldi, he's under 23 Canadian singles runner-up. Got that in 2018 in Ivrea, getting just that little bit warmer on a lovely Sunday morning. So in your picture there. That was Batia Marinic and Martin Thomas. He'll go early, the Frenchman, but has a real chance, I think, of qualifying. He was runner-up in last year's Europeans in Po. But let's focus on the first man, Jure Lenarčić for Slovenia. A gold medal in the C1 Worlds some 5 years ago in London. That would be his greatest claim to fame, I would reckon. And out he goes. Gate number 1 looming. Need to make speed and pace here, but in a controlled way. And you can see he was beaten there by the stopper. So that's cost him time. Now another trio of offsets, 5. Oh, he's hit 7. He's been struggling all the way down now. So this will be interesting when the next competitor comes down. We'll get a time check, but a touch on 7. This is not an auspicious start for him. 11. Crowd nicely socially distanced like it was yesterday morning, but I'm not sure the social distancing was really observed when we came to the finals. Everybody wanted to get in on the act and applaud, particularly obviously the Czech successes. So no more errors in terms of gate touches so far. 2 gates to go. So remember, the fastest woman in the kayak was 1:15. So there's a little comparison for you. Next man on the course, here he goes, and this is Jake Cochran. The Irish very excited to have men in the semi-finals. Okay, there are a few nations who are not here for various legitimate reasons, but you can only compete with those who are here, and well done to him for making the semis. And you can see much quicker than the Pathfinder who preceded him. And that's not a bad start at all. 14 dropping down to 15, and that's pretty well half the course and clean. So well done, Jake. Double upstream proves no problem for him, but now into these tricky moves here. 18, well, he's managed that. 19, which has to set up for 20. Good effort. Well, a clean run, that's what he's aiming for. That's what he should aim for, in as fast as time as he can. Just got held there, bursting through the stopper, but that's delayed him through 23, so that's actually cost him some time. Correction to get through 25 in terms of line, but easily goes into the lead in 117.84. Clean run. Well done, Jake. Not bad. Lost time, though. That negotiation of gate 23 was really his undoing in terms of the clock. So out of the water now. This is Martin Thomas for France, the runner-up in the European Championships last year in France, in Po. 8th in the World Championships last year in Spain. But 7, a touch he could do well without, and you can see, but for that, he'd have been 3 seconds up on the Irishman. He's not worried about Jake, he's worried about the faster men who are going to come, so he really needs to pour it on in his sort of tiger striped canoe, as direct as he can be into 15. That little stanchion stops it being an even more direct line, but 17 to 18, that's good, really kept the boat moving. This is better, needs to keep building. Now, this is the section where the Irishman lost time, so I would expect him, if he's accurate and fast, let's see how he moves to 23, much more effective than Cochrane of Ireland, and this will extend his advantage. It's early days in this semi-final, but nonetheless, moving very quickly. He's going to be a good 10 seconds ahead, isn't he? Something like that. Yeah, and almost 11. So, Martin Thomas of France takes the early pace. Now he's set a target there, but what a pity he had that touch there, because otherwise that would have been a 1:05. Gregor Hedvig. One man was inside 100 seconds in the heats, but as I said, it's a different course. Former European team silver medalist Gregor, representing Poland. 9th in last year's Europeans and 10th in the World Championships. So the competition's really on now. 14, clear touch. Or 13, I should say, I beg your pardon, that's 14, 15. But really clouted gate 13, still swinging the pole. Here's the tricky move. Oh, and he's just caught that right-hand pole, I'm sure. Surely 18, looks as if there was a touch on that. Well, I thought there was, hasn't come up at the moment, but at the moment, just 2 seconds of penalty. Well, I was right, unfortunately, because I wouldn't wish anybody to have an extra penalty. And another one there on 23. And suddenly, for Gregor, this has just drifted away and into second place, 117 seconds. But again, that's on terms with the Irishman, just a little bit quicker by half a second. But if you'd taken those 6 penalties off, he would have been 111 and only 4 seconds behind Martin Thomas. Now, here's a paddler I really love to watch, Denis Gago-Chanou, representing France, the Rio Olympic champion of 2016. Perhaps not the most consistent. He was 7th in the world last season. But on his day, he's a danger to everybody. Up on the clock. Well, careless there through 12. So what he had, he's now lost. So how close to his French teammate? Well, you can see he would have been within just over half a second of Martin Thomas, but for that one touch. Thomas also had one touch, so Canoe. Not all is lost, because this is about qualifying for the final, but there are a lot of talented folks to come, and where's he going to go? He's not going to overtake Martin Thomas, but maybe France 1-2. Indeed, France first and second, and you can see there it would have been just 2.33 behind. Switzerland next. Yesterday, Switzerland delighted with their team bronze in the men's kayak team finals yesterday. Nice confidence boost, and this is Thomas Köchlin. Silver medal in the Europeans some 3 years ago. Good start. Halfway in terms of the number of gates to be negotiated. 16. Across the other side to 17. Oh, that's tight, and he's caught that riverside bank pole there. That's a pity, and you can see he would have been what, less than half a second behind the current leader for France. So can he make that up, I wonder? Not much of the river left here for him to do that, but certainly challenging to be in the first three the way he's going now. That's a real pity for him. Köchlin looking powerful through here and challenging Martin Thomas, and he split the Frenchman and goes into second place. So no clean, well, the only clean run, Jake Cochran, who's down to 5th place at the moment. And now just about to get underway, Paolo Ceccon. In fact, he's on his way through gate 1 to 2. Paolo with the Italian team last season, under 23 world champion, so nice to have that achievement on your personal role. And that's 7, and that was a heavy touch. And you can see, but for that, he'd have been ahead in the first third of the exercise. Still put, oh, and a second touch. That was a bit careless there on 12. 14, which has caught 1 or 2, but he's okay through there. But the problem for him is that he's now not only got 2 touches, it's actually disrupted his rhythm, and he's losing time. So what started so well has got away from him, so to speak. So he's probably going to be in the, well, he went round 5th, 6th, that sort of area, providing he doesn't make any other errors. Slightly different in his negotiation, but it works, and then comes upstream of that stopper to make sure that the boat keeps moving to through 25, and where's he going to be? For the moment, he's in the top 10 in 6th place, but 11 seconds. Take those 4 penalties off, 7 seconds down. He would have been in 4th place at this moment. Next man, one to watch out for France, and it's Cédric Joly, the reigning world champion last year in La Seo de Gale. France in 1st and 3rd, and looking to put all 3 men through into the final. Another man who I think can make some time towards the end of the course, and time-wise, he's not bad, but needs to find a little bit more because of those who are going to follow him. He's half a second down. Double upstream. That wasn't executed very well, and I think he might have got a touch on the exit there to 16. Yes, he has. And 17, 18 are okay, thank goodness. So even the world champion can make a mistake, and the question is, can he recover from it? Because here comes the all-important time check. Well, in fact, it's kept running there, so I think he'll be in the top 5 at the moment as he comes through to the last of the gates here. And again, this is going to be a bit of an if-only run. If only I hadn't touched 16 and 4th place, and if he hadn't touched 16, he would have been in 2nd behind his teammate. So 3 Frenchmen in the top 5 at the moment. Will that be good enough for the final? Now, 5 years ago, this man won the under-23 European Championship. Matija Marinic for Croatia. Touch on gate 4, and I've seen this all too often. He is a talent, but he produces the goods when he's training, but so often in competition, I think the nerves get to him. We've talked about this before, about whether a sports psychologist could really help him to get over the nerves that he has when it comes to the really big day. And there you've got 4 seconds of penalties now, and he'd only be a couple of seconds down but for that, and 6 now, and it's building up to a cricket score. 15 and 16 to negotiate. So the way he's going now, he's going to be, well, 7, 8 seconds down. Gate 20. It's way over, and he's caught with the look like the bow of the canoe, caught 21. So 8 seconds of penalties. Oh, he's going to be so annoyed with this. Well, this would have been, but for those penalties, this would have been a run of 1:14, as you can see there, 14 seconds. 1:14, it would have put him into 5th place. So I'm afraid he's lost his chance. He's down in 9th at the moment. Technically, he's in, or mathematically, he's in a qualifying position, but not for much longer, I'm afraid. Now, Miguel Trav for the Spanish. Exciting talent. Junior world champion 2 years ago in Ivrea in Italy. Ducking and diving here. Touch on gate 4. Or no, still okay. Trav. Couldn't quite see that so well, but this is actually not bad. Clean so far, no touches. Maybe lost a little bit of time, 2-3 seconds, but avoiding the poles, negotiating the gates. So through 16 across to 17, and he's caught it on the exit. So that's a pity. And I've just seen, so I was being given a 50 for gate number 6. We'll have to review that but that's really knocked him out of contention. That's a real shame. 6, one of the downstream gates. At the moment it's not showing, but it's come up on my computer screen, and at the moment he looks, of course, as if he's going to be in a decent qualifying position, but we'll have to wait and see whether that 50 is reviewed. At the moment he's in 5th place, but my computer suggests that he's got a touch or missed the gate 6, not negotiated it correctly. And, well, it's difficult to see from that angle, but that will be checked out, or is it? Yeah, down in 10th place at the moment. There it is on the leaderboard. So none of these men have qualified for sure yet, but you can see the French force there, 3 in the top 5. And the next man to take his turn now is going to be Flavio Micozzi for Italy, runner-up 2 years ago in the Junior Worlds. So Paolo Ciccon, his teammate, is in 7th place at the moment. This needs to be better if we're to have Italian representation in the final. We've still got Raffaello Ivaldi, all 3 Italians through to the semi-final stage. Yes, it was a touch on 4. So an early setback. But for that, he wouldn't be too far away. Italians have had great paddlers, particularly Daniele Momenti, the Olympic champion, and he was a fantastic servant to Italian slalom canoeing. Still not bad here. It's just that one annoying touch. Otherwise, time-wise, not too bad. Now there's a time loss in there, so 7 seconds. Well, he didn't lose it all on that one gate. It's cumulative, little bit low into 20. They're all fractions, but they all accumulate. So Micozzi just the one touch there and squeezes into the top 10 for the moment, but whether he can hold on to that, I'm not sure. So Martin Thomas has definitely qualified. He's the first man through to the final, the current leader. And it'll be Kasper Stuba for Poland on his way. So Kasper, only 21, 4th in last year's under-23 World, so promising. Quick. Hedvig of Poland in 5th place at the moment. He had 6 penalties. That's why he's 10 seconds behind the leader. So this man looking for a clean run. He's got through there, but it cost him a fraction of time for the corrections. Rhythm okay through 20. Just at the moment, time is at the moment where he's been losing out on the run, but it's still effective here, keeping it clean. 2 gates to go, and this is not bad. Not bad at all. Have a look at this. A clean run, and it pays off. He picks up a lot of the deficit on the lower part of the course and takes himself and Poland into 2nd place. So it's only the 2nd clean run that we've seen, and well done to Poland. Andrzej Bercic for Slovenia now. Last year, a team gold with the Slovenian team in Po at the Europeans for downstream 2nd set of offsets. On the bow again, clattering gate 6. And a 50 on gate 8 in terms of negotiation, and another, too many mistakes here. Upstream 10, another 50 not negotiated. Well, his chance has gone. It's the pressure here that's got to him, and Andrzej will not be participating in the final. The chief judge will have a look at those 50s, and 20 was okay, but so 10 was an upstream penalty, and he's just brushed 23, so another 2 seconds. Well, out of qualification, but now on his way already. It's the Italian, and the Italian Raffaello Ivaldi, runner-up in the under-23 Worlds in Ivrea 2018, promising. Not a very dynamic start here. He's making the gates, but it'd be interesting. Oh, and well, that doesn't help his cause at all. Now he's going to go up and round to get this downstream gate, and well, this is a huge time loss. The clock will tell the story momentarily, and that pretty well is his qualification run lost. 14 seconds down, and even if he didn't lose anything further, the man in 10th place now, Matija Marinic, is 14 seconds, almost 15 seconds down, so he would need something extraordinary to keep him in this competition. That's really disappointing. It means that they'll be relying on probably Paolo Ceccon, who's in 8th place, to represent them in the final, but that's not certain either. Exit, touch on 20. Well, what a pity. He's better than this, much better. But this is the pressure of being set the target of finishing in the top 10, so it hasn't really been an auspicious morning for the 3 Italians. Yes, they got into the semi-finals, but they haven't actually delivered their best in the semis. And you can see there with the 4 seconds, even if you took those away, so he's way down in last place at the moment. Now, It's that almost Eskimo roll that cost him all the time. So Václav Chalupka of the Czech Republic, under 23 world champion in 2018. He's got a K in his name, not to be confused with a very famous rower, Václav Chalupa. Absolute legend in Czech canoeing. But let's not worry about that. He's up on the clock, and that's the important thing, as well as being clean so far, 17, 18. This is not bad. Only half a second down. Nice and tight there into 20. Well, there's no doubt that home advantage does count. This lower part of the course remodeled for the new season, but we never knew it was going to be a season like this, and absolutely powering his way now, Chalupa, into the top 2 or 3. Indeed, into second place, clean run in 107.35. It's not the fastest run time. That's still Martin Thomas in 105.10. That's the fastest run time so far. And Jake Cochran of Ireland still in 8th place, still surviving. As you can see there, the Irishman, that good clean run that started us all off earlier on, still standing well, but there are 5 to come. So Jake will be crossing his fingers, as will Paolo Chicon, as will Yuri Lenarcic, and those men are most likely to be eliminated if one of the 5 who are about to come run a bit better. Wojciech Heger for the Czech Republic, a man who likes a cup of coffee or two, is the next man to go. This is the man who, at the World Championships last year in Seo de Gel, secured an Olympic place for Tokyo. He's also paddled C2 with his brother Thomas. 20 years of age, so again another young talent. 1.88, there's an indication of what he can do on the water. One of the 5 last to go, indicating how well he did in the heats on Friday. Much tighter to 16 before he drops down there. Still got the advantage. Well, this is going to be tight. Martin Thomas of France being challenged here by, so far, a clean run. And Václav Chalupka, this is pretty good by him. And he's got to be in the first 3. The question is where he's going to finish. And he doesn't quite get there, into second place, in fact, Chalupka, but he's qualified. So Benjamin Šavšek for Slovenia, the defending European champion from last year's Europeans in Pau in France. A very different type of course, Pau, to the examination they face here. It's always deceptive here in Prague on Troja. Some say it looks easy. It never is. Savsek almost 2 seconds to the good. Well, Slovenia need a challenger at the moment. They've got nobody in the top 10, so it's all on Savsek's shoulders. Savsek. 8th in the London Olympics and 6th in Rio. So that's how close he got to an Olympic medal. Still good. Still with the advantage which he's built sweetly. Actually, to be honest, he's lost about a quarter of a second, but he might pick that up again as he comes through to the finish here. Savsek looking good and negotiates this. Now watch the power of this man as he comes round through 24 and 25 here. Here you can see the strength. This is the fitness of Benjamin Savsek as he comes towards the line, and really effective battling, and he's done it by 0.29. The advantage was slipping, but nonetheless Martin Thomas is toppled, and that's a clean run in 106.81 seconds. 3 to go, and it's his Slovenian teammate now, Luka Bozic. 3rd in the World Championships last year. Luka. Wind the clock back 6 years. He was a world champion in Deep Creek in America, not in the Canadian single, but in the Canadian double, which is sadly no longer on the Olympic program. And, well, now it's out of even the slalom repertoire. A great boat, but a touch on 4. That's not helped his cause. So we have one Slovenian through, but he's not slow. So, like Savsek, he's got a chance of picking this up, but he can't really afford another touch. And as I said that, he gets a touch on 15. So that really is problematic. Jake Cochran now outside the top 10. The man who's shaking in his boots in 10th place is Gregor Hedvig of Poland. 117 seconds his running time, and that could be under threat. And indeed it is, as Bozic goes into 6th place with only 2 to come. So Slovenia have got 2 through to the finals. Cedric Joly in 9th place, the world champion, worrying now about his participation. There are 2 to go, and it's Liam Zhegu for Ireland. 2 is okay. Bronze medalist last year in the under-23 Worlds in Krakow, through 4, 5. Not a great line. Oh, catches 6 and 7, 4 seconds of penalties. Now that's a real setback. He wasn't quick, but now the deficit, there it is, 7, almost 7.5 seconds. Well, it's going to be really hard. I'm looking at 10th place. You can't afford to be more than 10 seconds behind. That's the man in 10th place, Gregor Hedvig. And the deficit is probably in that region at the moment. It is. So he's got to find something if he wants to stay alive in this competition. Low there on 20. looking quite tired and quite stressed through here. And this does not bode well. And another touch, as you can see there, on 13, so 6 seconds of penalties. And this might well be another if-only run for Liam Jagu. Again, a paddler on his day who can do much better than that. And the Irish, who had high hopes of getting at least one paddler into the final and take over those 6 penalties, 1:13.93, and that would have just kept him in the top 10. But only 1 to go, so Cedric Joly, the world champion in 9th place at the moment, is safe. Gregor Hedvig has to sweat a little bit as Lukas Rowan for the Czech Republic, the fastest man in the heats on Friday, takes the run. Bronze medalist in the European team competition in 2018 on the water here in Prague. The Czechs in 3rd and 4th with Chalupka and Heger. So looking to get all 3 men through to the final. Careful start, I would say. But maybe that's his ambition at the moment, and then just to really try and power the last third of the course, which is where he is now. That's the last really difficult move, actually, 17 to 18. The rest are straightforward, a sweep through there. Now needs to make up some of the time that he's lost on the upper sections. Very tight to 21, but 22 was good, and 23, yeah, keeps the canoe moving there, breaks the stopper through 24, and 25 nearly loses it. Oh my goodness gracious me, he was on course for a really fast run. He's still going to be good enough to qualify. And 6th place, Hedvig loses out, Cedric Joly survives, and the Czechs have got their 3 men into the final. Oof. The heart palpitations for friends and family for Lukas Rowan, but he's made it into 6th place. A clean run in 1:10.95, 4 seconds down on Benjamin Savsek, the defending European champion, who wins the semi-final and will go last when the top 10 go in reverse order for the final. And those finals with the women and the men starting at 12 o'clock midday Central European time. There with the letter Q are the men who've made it. So you can see Slovenia with 2 represented, France there with Martin Thomas and Cedric Joly. But these men now are spectators. And you can see how those 50 penalties really ruled people out there. Miguel Trav would have made it but for that 50. Flavio wouldn't, but Miguel Trav of Spain, that's a real pity. Young Spanish talent.
Thank you. I am satisfied with my run. It was hard and long, but I'm happy to make it to the finals, and I will try to do it once again without touches and big mistakes. And
what do you think about the course?
Yeah, the course, it's pretty hard. It's hard to do it without the touch, because you need to go on millimeters. But that's good. I like hard courses, so I will try to keep this smooth run in the final.
It seems to be very hard to beat the Czechs on their home course. What's your recipe?
Yeah, of course, they know this course pretty well, but I think I like this course too, so I will try to do it in the finals.
Congratulations, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's the defending European champion, Benjamin. So far so good. It's hard enough to win a championship, but to defend a title, well, that's a big ask. And you can see from what he said, or hear from what he said, and it's a unanimous opinion here from all the paddlers in all the categories, that this is tough to do this cleanly and in a quick time. But he's done it in 106.81, so it'll be interesting to see. And it's correct that this is the toughest course. The heats was achieved, one man, Lucas Rowan, inside 100 seconds, but the finals are supposed to be on the toughest course, and we'll look forward to those. Well, the boys have now got, and the girls, have got about an hour and 15 minutes from now to go back, look at the videos, see where they can find those precious fractions and get ready for the finals. You can see there at midday. And then, of course, we've got the team events. 7 nations represented in both the women's and the men's competitions to round off the 2020 championships. And once again, a big pat on the back to Jaroslav Pollert and the Czech Canoe Slalom Federation for the magnificent job they've done here in staging these championships in very difficult circumstances. And also congratulations to the teams that have managed to come here from 20 countries. We'll take our leave, but we'll be back at midday for the finals. We look forward to your company.